Thank you very much for coming. We all really appreciate it. I'm Paul Moschetta, and I wrote the screenplay, Do No Harm, the movie that you're about to watch in the theater of your mind. The trailer for this film tells us there's a story about Andy, a young man who has a nervous breakdown and lands in a state mental hospital. After 3 years, he's still there. And worse, he's trapped on a locked-back ward by a sadistic psychiatrist, Dr. Enzo Gambelli. Drugged and demoralized, Andy's on the verge of giving in and becoming a chronic mental patient when he's befriended by Jay, a maverick social worker who challenges him. Does he want to stay a patient or go home? Andy chooses home, and together they battle Gambelli for his release, but they have no idea of the evil they're about to encounter. Now, given time constraints, we're not able today to watch the entire movie. We're going to see Act 1, as it were, the beginning that sets up the main characters and the plot line to follow. We're going to begin with the words fade in and end with the words fade out. We'll have a narrator that will introduce the scenes. At the end, we'll take your questions and comments, and I'll introduce the staff. The cast.
Someone took that big lessons.
Did I say I wanted frivolity? Okay, here we go.
Okay. Fade in, January 1968, Long Island Expressway morning. It's snowing as a beat-up pale blue VW exits onto a smaller two-lane county road, then turns in between two large brick pillars. An overhead sign reads, Central State Psychiatric Hospital. Jay, 28, tall with good-looking features and dark brooding eyes, struggles to see through a fogged-up windshield. He passes an 8-story brick building dominating acres of smaller buildings, all surrounding a golf course. He parks, loosens his tie, lights a joint, and stares at the administration building he's about to enter. Begin flashback. Dining room, Jay's father's house night. Jay and his father, 67, sit at the dining room table. Jay's girlfriend, Linda, a pretty brunette, carries dishes to the sink.
That was delicious, sweetheart. I bought a crumb cake this morning. It's on top of the fridge.
He turns to Jay.
You know, your cousin Joey just took over another gas station? That's 3, mate. That's 3 he has now. Mind you, 3.
Good for him.
What do you mean, good for him? What about you? Why don't you work in that nut house, Joey? Joey would take you in.
Fixing cars and pumping gas isn't my thing.
Your thing. Don't be so high and mighty. One day, he'll be retired, and you'll still be working in that dump without a pot to piss in.
Dad, please.
I don't get it. If you want to do hospital work, why not be a doctor? That's where the money is. But this social worker thing, it's a loser job. It's a job for a loser. You know what? Do yourself a favor and see Joey this week. Stay in touch, just in case.
I can't.
All right. You don't want to get your hands dirty. Fine. Go take care of the lunatics. You'll learn the hard way. Just don't come crying to me when you wake up.
Flashback ends. Other people arrive, and Jay follows them into the building. Hospital orientation room. Jay sits with a dozen other new hires as they empty envelopes onto their desks. Standing before them is a personnel director.
Congratulations, your 3 days of orientation are over. Now it's time to go to work. In there is your building assignment, an ID badge and a passkey. Don't lose your passkey. You won't get far without it. A building representative is waiting for you at your assigned location. Good luck.
Jay parks and enters a brick building labeled Adult Services. A cluster of patients sit on plastic chairs, some smoking, others hallucinating. Two aides chat off to the side. One of them, Brian, greets Jay, and they move to an elevator.
Does it always smell like this?
Smell? What smell? Just kidding. Yeah, it's pretty raunchy in here. You'll get used to it.
Brian leads Jay to his office, a small side room. It's stifling hot with a desk piled high with charts.
Are these for me?
Yeah, they need updating. The other social worker left 2 months ago.
Okay, can you help me spin this desk around? I want it facing the hall so I can see what's going on.
With his passkey, Jay unlocks a wire mesh window guard, opens the window, and begins unpacking his briefcase. Jay's office later, off-screen, loud voices arguing and cursing. Brian and another aide are wrestling a resisting patient past Jay's door. Seeing Jay, he breaks free, lunges toward him, and puts his hand through the window. This quiets his rage, and he's hustled out. Nurse's station later. Jay wanders over as Dr. Lou, the ward psychiatrist, and Brian are talking.
Why you let him break window? Now I have to make accident report. Incident report, a lot of work.
We're short one person today. There's just 2 of us. And he was having one of his fits. You can ask Jay here. He's the new social worker. He saw it all.
Hi, I'm Jay.
Why you open window guard? Patient cut arm, now incident report, not good.
It happened so fast.
Ah, no excuse.
Lou turns and leaves. Taken aback, Jay goes back to his desk. Later, Brian sticks his head in the doorway.
Can you give us a hand? It's dinner. We have to get all these guys down to the dining room.
Brian and Jay march 20 men toward a bank of elevators. Instead of staying in line, the hungry patients bunch up in front of the elevators.
Get back against the wall. Make room, get back.
The elevator doors open, discharging 24 returning patients. Jay is engulfed in a chaotic, claustrophobic swarm.
Get back, damn it, against the wall, get back.
Adult Services Building night. Jay pushes the door open and takes several deep breaths. He walks to his car, now a small igloo from the all-day snow. He starts the VW, but the wheels get no traction.
Christ, not now.
Tries again, nothing. He sits back, eyes closed. A knock on the window startles him. Rolling it down reveals Andy, 19, fair and slightly built, grinning a manic smile.
You stuck? Want to push? I'll get you out. I'm Andy Coops. When in Paris, call collect.
What?
You work here? Where?
Right here, Adult Services.
I'm right next door, in L4, right there. Come and see me sometime. Andy Coops. I'll get you out. Just wait. I'll be right back.
Andy bounds through the snow, disappearing inside L4. Jay begins clearing the VW's windshield. Andy returns, followed by Nicholas, who's as dull as Andy is manic. He carries a large styrofoam cup. After each sip, he smacks his lips and smiles.
What's your name?
Jay.
You going home? Take me with you. Just kidding.
He raises a camera hanging from around his neck.
Stand together. I'll take your picture.
Jay hesitates. Nicholas sips and smiles.
Just move over a little. By the hood. That's it. Got it. Okay, Nicholas, come over here. We gotta push this car.
Andy takes the cup from Nicholas. Jay gets in and cranks the engine. Nicholas pushes. The bug pops free.
Thanks a lot.
Sure, anytime.
Andy spots a young woman coming out of L4.
Hey, Barbara, wait up. Don't forget, come and see me. Andy Coops. When in Paris, call collect.
I will.
Nicholas turns and heads back to L4. On his way, he belts out a song.
Oh, Donna, I had a girl, Donna was her name. Since she left me, I'd never been the same.
Building L4 day. An aide mops as Jay enters, asking for Andy.
Coops? Hey, Ben. Did Andy leave yet?
Ben, a black man about 60, approaches.
Yeah, he's gone. Left day before yesterday. You look disappointed.
I didn't think he'd leave so soon. I just met him a few days ago.
That's the drill these days, in and out. Nice kid, taking everybody's picture all the time. Claims he's a professional photographer. Never a dull moment when Andy's around.
When embarrassed, call collect.
And he says that all the time.
I know. What got him admitted?
Had some kind of breakdown in college, not sure of the details. You know him?
Yeah, just started. Jay Conti, social work.
Ben Twiney, glad to meet you. What building you in?
Adult services for now. I'm hoping that changes.
Don't worry about missing Coops. He'll most likely be back.
What makes you say that?
I don't know. Andy's just one of those people. Got too much life in him, that's all.
March 1970, 3 years later. Jay's office, he answers the phone.
Ben, what's happening? Lunch? No way, I'm swamped. But listen, craziest thing happened this morning. I'm over in the medical building, and I hear someone call my name. I look up, all I see is elevator doors closing. Driving away, it hits me. It sounded like Andy Coops, remember?
Sure, I remember. Then again, maybe you're just hearing voices like a lot of people around here.
Very funny. So I call medical records. He's on 6 East, building 7.
What the hell is he doing over there?
I don't know.
When did he come in?
About 3 years ago.
Oh, Lord. Then he's in a heap of trouble. You ever been there?
I've been in the building, but never on 6 East.
It's a real hellhole. Not much goes on, except crowd control. The aides are all big, burly types. Sosa's the unit chief, but she's not much to speak of. The ward shrink runs the show. What you gonna do?
I guess I'll go see him.
Well, let me know what you find out.
Yeah, I'll get back to you.
Ward 6 East, Building 7. Jay unlocks a steel door and steps onto the ward. There's a long hall with rooms on each side and a large shower room in the middle. Opposite him is a clothing storage room. To his right, there's a staff office, and next to that, behind another locked door, is a day room crowded with men. At the end of the long hall, a tiny old man, Izzy, 70s, in a hospital gown, turns himself in circles. Only his screams break the silence. Ronnie, 24, a gruff bully aide, comes out of the staff office and sees Jay.
Who are you?
Jay Conti, social work. I'd like to see Andy Coops.
What for?
What for? Where's the ward charge?
If you want Coops, he's in the shower room. Just yell for him.
Walking in, Jay sees Matt, 30, a huge, unshaven hulk, pacing and mumbling incoherently. He ignores Jay. After yelling for Andy, Jay turns and sees him crawling out from under a changing bench. He's in pajamas and has nicotine stains on his fingers and the corners of his mouth. A lampshade hugs his back like a cowboy hat. A small plastic bag of tobacco and orange peels hangs at his side. He stares vacantly ahead, rocking back and forth. When he speaks, it's slow and slurred.
Got a cigarette?
Sorry, I don't smoke. Where can we talk?
My room.
Andy shuffles out. Jay follows him, glancing over at Matt, who's still pacing. Andy's room. Jay watches Andy roll a stogie from his pouch. After a couple of drags, he looks up.
Thanks for coming. You look the same.
What happened? How did you end up back in the hospital?
I'm not sure. I know I was at the airport. They arrested me, but I don't know why.
You don't know why you were arrested?
I'm not sure. Seems like a long time ago.
Izzy, still screaming, is now right outside of Andy's door. Jay has to yell over him.
Who is that?
His name's Izzy.
Why is he screaming like that?
I don't know. He does all the time. Watch.
Andy takes Izzy's hands, and the screams idle down to a low growl. Andy smiles.
What about the guy in the men's room? Does he pace like that all day?
That's Matt. Yeah, they leave him alone because he's so big.
Is he dangerous?
Not to me. He's a friend. Izzy, too. I watch out for him because he's so old and skinny.
Who's your doctor?
His name's Gambelli. He's a prick. He doesn't give a shit about the patients.
Jay pauses, watching Andy rocking from one foot to the other.
Why were you sleeping on the floor?
No place else.
What about here?
Not allowed.
Well, how about the day room?
Too many fights.
What do you do all day?
Not much. Sleep mostly.
Okay, I've got to go.
You're coming back?
You want me to?
Please.
All right, I'll come by tomorrow. Listen to me. Go wash your face and hands. Clean yourself up. You look like crap. And when I come back, don't be sleeping under that bench.
Can you bring me some Winstons?
All right, just get cleaned up.
Izzy's in the doorway grumbling. Jay takes his hands.
See you soon.
Jay passes the shower room and then turns and goes in. Matt approaches. Jay holds up a hand.
Hold it a minute. My name's Jay. I'm a friend of Andy. You're Matt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Matt, good to meet you. See you tomorrow.
Hospital canteen. 2-story bungalow-type building. Canteen on the first floor. Professional staff offices on the second. Patients come and go. Jay and Ben sit over coffee.
Sounds like Andy's got himself in a whole lot of trouble. What happens now?
I haven't figured that out yet.
Whether Andy's right or wrong about this Gambelli, no shrink is going to want him messing around their business.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You plan on making a career out of this job?
Maybe. Why?
Well, going up there, stirring things up, could come back and bite you in the ass. Here it's the old boys club. That's what gets you promoted. Being seen as a troublemaker could get you stuck at a low pay grade. You want that?
Hell no.
So be careful. Don't go rushing into anything.
I'm not rushing. Does it look like I'm rushing?
No, but I see your wheels turning.
Well, I can't just walk away and pretend I didn't see him. And then again, I can't go up there like I own the place. So I've got to figure something out.
Maybe you should go see this Gambelli. That's not Mo's aide you met, probably already told him you were there. Explain that Andy's an old friend and let him see you mean no harm.
I guess. But you know what's weird? His office is about 4 doors down from mine, yet I've never seen him. The door's always closed.
Well, here's your chance.
Yeah, lucky me.
Canteen, second floor, Gambelli's office. At a bare desk is Dr. Enzo Gambelli, 50, paunchy, with close-set dead eyes and a sparse blondish mustache. Chain-smoking, he's perched like a bird of prey, staring out at a window at the patients below. His focus is on Mia, 30, a mentally challenged, attractive Latina with lots of makeup, dressed like a gypsy. She leads an older male patient across the road, and they disappear behind a building. Hospital records room morning. An aide hands over Andy's record, and Jay sits and begins reading. Hallway outside Gambelli's office that afternoon. Jay stands in front of Gambelli's door, gathering himself before knocking. Gambelli approaches, surprising him.
Can I help you?
Oh, Dr. Gambelli. I just wanted to stop by. My name's Jay Conti.
Come in, please.
Gambelli goes to his desk and gestures Jay to sit.
I wanted to stop by and introduce myself. I'm a social worker in training. Wait, Conti, you're Italian, no? Yes. From where? Where in Italy is your family from? Naples, I would guess. Naples or maybe Sicily. Both. My mother's family was from Naples. And yes, your father from Sicily. Very common, very common. My family is all from the north, but what does it matter? We're Italians. We stick together, right? Oh, yeah, sure. Yesterday, I was on 6 East visiting a friend of mine, Andy Coops. Ah, Mr. Coops. Difficult. Some people just fight against getting better. I thought maybe my visiting could work in his favor. What favors him is of little interest to me. His mental condition is the key. Of course, I was thinking his mental state could change with some motivation. Really? Mr. Conti, you make mental states sound like the weather, changing every day. No, I didn't mean, but they don't. Schizophrenics don't change. They need structure and a firm hand. But Andy's record doesn't say he's schizophrenic. Ah, now I see. You're a social worker who's an expert in psychiatry. Why don't you cite some relevant research on this subject? Etiology, medications, a course of treatment, anything. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Begin flashback. Jay, as a young boy, stands frozen before his father.
This is the kind of report card you bring me? This is a goddamn disgrace. Just like the last one. This is a report card of a loser. Is this what you want to be? A loser? What did I tell you last time? That if you didn't improve, what? Tell me.
A beating.
That's right. Now turn around.
Flashback ends.
Well, I'm waiting. Right now I can't. No, you can't. That's why diagnostic assessments are signed by physicians, not social workers. Isn't that a fact? Am I correct, Mr. Conti? Yeah, that's right. Good. We agree on something. Psychiatry is not something you dabble in here and there. It requires years of training. Your Mr. Coops is a dangerous psychotic who threatened to kill the president. I think you better tread lightly where he's concerned. Now you'll excuse me. I've got work to do.
Jay's office. Jay storms in and gives his trash basket a good kick. He slumps at his desk, begins looking through a file, and then tosses it aside. Jay's apartment that night. Jay paces while Linda does her nails.
First he wants to celebrate our Italian roots while letting me know that his family, unlike mine, is from the superior north. Then the pompous ass starts lecturing me about psychiatry. And what do I know, just being a lowly social worker?
Oh my goodness, he sounds awful. What else did he say?
That Andy's a dangerous psychotic.
Well, is he? How do you know he's not right about him being dangerous?
I don't know it, I just know it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, but you don't know him that well.
Okay, but the question is, what do I do now?
You don't have to do anything. You can't risk going in there and getting in trouble because of this Andy.
Just back down?
Yes. You saw what he's like. He's not going to want you on his ward. At best, he's a pain in the ass know-it-all. Sound familiar?
What do you mean?
Your father. He sounds like a carbon copy of him. How's that going to go, standing up to him every day?
It won't be every day.
Still, you know what I mean. You know how hard that is for you.
What about Andy? What do I tell him?
Well, if you're not going to go back there, you don't have to tell him anything. In a day or two, he'll probably forget you were even there. Corridor, outside Jay's office. Jay chats with two colleagues and then walks into his office. The phone rings. Andy's on the other end.
What happened? You said you were coming back. It's been 2 weeks. It's awful here. Please.
I know I said I was coming back, but it's not that easy. I have other patients.
Please, you said you would come back. Please.
Jay hears cursing, and the line goes dead. He hangs up, leans forward, and puts his head in his hands. Canteen. Jay and Ben sit together in silence.
You know, you keep moving around like this week after week, and I'm going to have to start eating by myself.
Andy called again for the 4th time.
How's he keep eating use of the phone?
You know Andy, as soon as he sees no one in the office, he grabs the phone.
How long has it been now?
2 months.
What did he say?
Same thing he always says. Please help, come back, please. Then I get a couple of words out and somebody hangs up the phone.
Ben notices a male patient, about 50, standing by the door, trying to get his attention.
Be right back.
Ben listens, and then the patient hands over a note. Ben shakes his hand and comes back to Jay.
That was Frank, an old-timer. He's on 60s too. It goes out to caddy at the golf course. Been doing it for years. He was over at your office. They sent him here. Andy gave him this note for you.
Jay opens it. A crudely drawn stick figure cowers in a corner, while a huge hypodermic syringe hangs overhead. Please help me is scribbled at the bottom. Jay shows it to Ben. He winces reading it. Jay gets up.
See you later.
Baseball field. Jay jogs around the field and then stops to catch his breath. He sees a church across the street with a casket that's being carried out past a father and 2 young children. Begin flashback. Living room, colonial-style house. Jay, 10, and his younger brother, 6, watch cartoons. Off-screen, a car door slams. Jay jumps up, turns off the TV, and hurries to put dirty dishes into the sink. His father comes in.
You didn't clean this up yet? Jesus Christ almighty. What were you watching, TV? Get over here when I'm talking to you.
who grabs Jay, pushing him against the wall.
God damn it, when are you gonna start listening? Your mother's dead, she's not coming back. Nobody's here to take care of you. You have to take care of yourself. And if you don't, by Christ, I'll send you to a home. Do you hear me? Now, clean this up. You better start behaving, or I'll pack the two of you up and send you away.
As the father storms out, Jay fights back tears and goes to his brother who's crying on the couch.
Don't cry. I'll take care of you. You'll see. Don't cry.
Flashback ends. Jay watches the casket disappear into a hearse and then walks off. Roadside hot dog truck. A silver Coupe de Ville Cadillac parks next to the truck. Dr. Irv Belsky, barrel chest, expensive suit, more like a mob boss than a shrink, gets out and boards the truck, taking the driver's seat. Jay pulls up and joins him in the passenger seat.
How's it going, Alfie?
Great, Doc. Good to see you. What'll it be?
3 with the works.
The same, only I'll have 2.
Customers approach and Belsky leans out the window.
Step right up, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be shy. Alfie's got the best dogs on the island. I come here all the time, so I know. Step right up.
When we're done here, there's something I want to run by you.
Inside the Cadillac later.
So, what's up, kiddo?
I need your permission to spend some time in Building 7, so I wanted to fill you in on the situation.
Dissolved to Belsky, stares out the window, exhaling a puff of cigar smoke, turns back to Jay.
Well, in addition to wanting to help your friend out, it sure as hell sounds like they could use some training up there. I'll go along for 3 or 4 months, part-time. Then we'll reevaluate.
That's fair. I appreciate it.
I don't know Gary Belly that well, except for seeing him at a few meetings now and then. He seems okay. He's certainly bright enough, but something seems a little bit off about him. It's hard to put my finger on it, but I shouldn't trash talk the guy because, like I said, I don't know him all that well.
Sure, I get it.
I'll memo both Sosa and Gambelli that you'll be there part-time as part of an education and training program, okay? We good?
Yeah, thanks. We're good.
You know, I remember Izzy. I'm going back maybe 15, 20 years. I had him as a client briefly. He was transferred in from Bellevue. What a story, you know it?
No, I haven't gotten to that yet.
Fucking Nazis murdered his whole family. They lined him up, wife, 6 kids, the youngest was about 1. They machine gunned him right there. The mother, she passes out, so they finish her with a pistol. Izzy's in the barn and he sees the whole thing. When they torture, he runs for the woods. He makes it. Years later, he comes to Brooklyn. Other people from his village are there, and they take him in.
God, I can't imagine surviving that.
That's what he had to do, try and live with it.
No wonder he screams all the time.
They sit silently together, and then Belsky starts the Cadillac. Ward 6 East. As Jade comes onto the ward, 2 aides move Izzy out on a stretcher. Down the hall, Matt, Ronnie, and another aide stand outside Andy's room. Andy sits on the bed.
I don't give a fuck what you want to do. I'm telling you what you have to do.
Jay approaches, sizing up the situation.
Is there a problem?
Yeah, there's a problem. Dipshit here doesn't want to do his mopping.
I said I was sick.
You're always sick or have some other bullshit excuse.
Well, maybe.
This is ward business and not a good time for a visit.
This is not a visit. I've been assigned to work here.
Says who?
Dr. Belsky, head of ed and training, and your unit chief, Dr. Sosa.
Well, nobody here knows anything about it.
Then go check your mailbox or make some calls. Or stay here and we find a better way to work this out.
This is fucking bullshit.
Ronnie and the other aides storm off. Jay sits opposite Andy. Matt leans in the doorway.
Thought you weren't coming back.
Well, I'm here. Are you really sick?
I'm sick of all the crap they pull. What was their job? Ours?
What happened to Izzy?
Belly did it. He threw him into a side room and hurt him real bad.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it. He grabbed him by the arm, swung him around and around, and flung him into the room. That poor Izzy. He never came out until they put him on the stretcher. Belly did it. I told you he's mean. Everybody's afraid of him. Even the aides. They don't say anything. He's not like a real doctor.
Andy's right about him.
Okay, that's a problem. I hear you. But let's back up for a minute. What's all this stuff in your file about wanting to kill Nixon?
It's a lie. The deputies made it up because I was talking about Nixon when they arrested me.
But how do you know you didn't say it? You were out of it, right?
Because it's not something I would say, no matter how manic I was. I'm not into hurting people. Anybody who knows me will tell you that.
So why were you so worked up about it?
Well, I went to the garden to get Muhammad Ali's picture. My brother hates him because he didn't go to Vietnam. To me, he's a hero. So we started arguing about Nixon and the war.
Wait a minute. This whole thing starts with you having a fight with your brother?
Sort of, but it was more than that. I was very racy when I got to the garden.
Begin flashback. Madison Square Garden night. Andy and his best friend Charlie, a tough, stocky redhead, stand in rear of the packed garden. Charlie jokes with the hooker. He turns to Andy.
Hey, she says she'll do us both for $50.
Not interested. Be ready to move when I do. We gotta get closer to get a good shot.
Okay, but what about getting laid afterwards?
Nah, you go for it. I'm gonna be busy. Now, let's go.
They snake through the crowd, stopping just behind Ali's corner. Pandemonium erupts when Ali knocks out his opponent. Andy steadies his camera on Charlie's head. As Ali walks back to his corner, he looks right at Andy and raises both hands in victory. Andy snaps it.
Come on, I got it. Let's get out of here.
You go. I'm gonna hang with her. I'll catch you later.
Photoshop night. Andy paces under a sign that says Jerry's all-night photo. A wall clock reads 1:30 a.m. A clerk comes out from the back room and opens a folder on the counter. Andy looks down, mesmerized.
You want it or not?
Yeah, 2 copies.
Daily News building later. An elderly photo editor examines Andy's Ali.
Hey, it's a great shot. I got a bunch already. Space is limited, even for Ali. I couldn't pay you, but if you want to leave it.
Sure, I'll leave it.
Long Island Railroad train platform, dawn. Andy, super hyped up, shows off Ali to everyone he sees. Andy's house, morning. Andy's brother Larry, 27, and girlfriend Sue have coffee and watch TV. Andy bolts in holding his large Ali folder.
It's about time. Your mother was worried about you.
She knew I was going to fight.
Yeah, but she didn't know you were staying out all night.
What fight?
Muhammad Ali, he fought at the garden. I took his picture for the Daily News.
Well, let's see. Andy stands the photo up on a chair opposite them. Oh, wow, it's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
The news loved it. They want me to work for them.
A news bulletin interrupts, showing protests of Nixon, Kent State, and the bombing of Cambodia.
They should arrest every one of them. My God, doesn't just being president demand some respect?
Oh, no way, no how, no deal. Not if your name is Nixon. Those kids at Kent State got shot for nothing. They got shot because of good old Nixon.
What the hell are you talking about? You think all those kooks are right, is that it?
I think they're right. Right as rain. Right down the middle and back again. They have a right to march without getting their heads bashed in.
While he talks, Andy makes a racket opening and closing kitchen cabinets in the refrigerator.
Where's the peanut butter?
Should be in there in the fridge.
Can't you stand still for a second? And if people riot in the street, that's okay with you, right?
Okie dokie.
You know what? Forget photography. You should just go around the country telling ignorant people what to believe in.
Sign me up. I'll do it. It's a great idea. I could fly all over. There's millions of them. I could go to Paris. When in Paris, call collect. I love it. Yippee!
There's no point talking to you. Let's get some breakfast.
Sue follows Larry out and then turns and gives Andy a thumbs up. There's more about Nixon and the war on the TV. Andy paces, looking back and forth between Ali and the TV. He picks up the phone.
Charlie, you never saw my shot of Ali.
Dude, it's so early. And yeah, I was there when you took it.
I know, but you never saw his eyes. It's like I took a picture of them, and now they're inside me, talking to me.
Whoa, hold on. What are you saying?
I'm saying. I'll call you back.
He goes to Ali and peers into his eyes.
Tell me, say it. What do you want me to do?
Dissolved to Suffolk County Airport, night. Andy parks in a darkened area, squeezes through a gate, and threads his way past a dozen small planes. A large hangar looms ahead. Going in, he's dwarfed by an F-106 fighter jet. He begins climbing its cockpit ladder. From the shadows, 2 armed Air National Guardsmen come into view.
Halt! Get down. Put your hands on your head.
Andy jumps down, holding up his hand.
Hey, guys, what's going on?
Who the fuck are you? What are you doing here?
I'm Andy. I come here all the time for lessons. My plane's back there. Can you guys take me up? I'm with the Associated Press. I've got to get to Washington to see Nixon. They set me up for a meeting tomorrow morning.
While Andy paces and rambles, the guardsmen exchange puzzled glances.
Sir, you need to stand still and answer some questions.
Sure. No problem. Remember, when in Paris, call collect. I know you guys can fly me to D.C. I've got to see Nixon to set him straight about the war. It's really important. I get to him. You know what's going on. I've got to fix it.
What's your name and address? Did you register at security?
Nah, I didn't come in that way. I came in the secret way only I know about.
The second guardsman goes to a wall phone.
I can show it to you if you want, but that's not important now. I've got to get to Washington. You guys are on duty, right? You can take me. It's nothing for you.
A sheriff's department patrol car rolls up. 2 deputies get out. Andy gets more agitated.
Hey, what the hell's going on? Don't you get it? I got to see Nixon. I got to get to Washington.
Sir, you are trespassing on private government property. Trespassing is a crime. You're being placed under arrest. I need you to come with me now.
Andy grabs the cockpit ladder. As the deputies struggle to pry him loose, a black canister spews a cloud of mace, enveloping him. Flashback ends.
After I was arrested, they brought me here. It wasn't about Nixon. It was just part of the nonsense I was spouting. It's my fault. Last time when I left the hospital, I didn't stay on my meds. I stopped taking them altogether.
Big mistake. How come no visitors for you? Your mother or your brother? No friends?
I told them all not to come. I don't want to be seen in a place like this.
Jay, mulling over it all, turns to Matt.
What about you, Matt? What's your story?
What do you mean?
Are you married? You single? What's your work? And what are you doing here in the hospital?
I'm single. I drive an oil truck.
Sounds like a good job. Why are you in the hospital?
I got into an accident with the truck. I turned it over.
And?
I couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't sleep. Then, when I stopped eating, my mother and sister got worried, so they brought me to the emergency room. They said I had some kind of depression and sent me to L4. But I ran away. When they brought me back, they put me here.
How long ago was that?
4 years ago.
Okay, let's get serious. The two of you are stuck on the worst ward in the hospital. And if Gambelli's the monster you say he is, he'll use everything he can to keep you here, starting with your appearance.
You'll see. He is a monster.
Okay, that's why you're going to start showering regularly, changing your clothes, and getting rid of that lampshade hat. And Matt, no more pacing in the shower room. Neither of you can afford to look or act crazy, because Gambelli will use it to steal your life from you.
Why is it up to us to do all the work? It's not fair.
Forget about fair. Here you are, and the only question is, are you going to stay here or go home? If you want to leave, I can help, but most of the work is going to fall on your shoulders. So you tell me, what do you want?
If I'm out now, that jerk wins. It'll look like I was faking.
No, it'll look like you were trying even though you weren't feeling well. And I'll go make a note in the daybook and you'll get credit for it.
Of course I want to get out of here, but modeling's hard. All I want to do is sleep.
Let's do it together. I'll help you.
That's a great, Matt. That's a good idea. So, Andy, do you want to stay here or go home?
Home, of course.
And you'll do what I say?
Yeah.
What about you, Matt?
I want to get out of here.
Okay, then. We have ourselves a deal. Keep yourselves neat and clean and stay out of trouble.
They all shake hands. On his way out, Jay stops by the staff office. Ronnie is on the phone.
Bird, Isidore Bird. Dr. Gambelli wants to know how long do you expect to keep him? No, he's coming back here. That's fine, thanks.
So Izzy's coming back here?
Yeah, where else is he gonna go?
I don't know. I haven't thought much about it.
Well, don't strain yourself. He's coming back here. And for your information, starting tomorrow, I'll be the new ward charge. I guess your buddies Belsky and Sosa didn't tell you that.
Well, congratulations.
Ronnie leaves and Jay writes a note in the daybook. On his way out, he looks down the hall. Matt towers over Andy as they mop. Jay stares, processing the image, and then goes back into the staff office and pulls both their charts. He checks both side by side and leaves. Building L4. Jay looks through the door of a group therapy room where Ben sits in a circle of patients. Seeing Jay, he steps out into the hall.
Something up?
Yeah. I went to see Gambelli like you said. Turns out Andy's right. He's a real prick. Says Andy's psychotic and tried to kill the president.
What?
Yeah, even though his admission notes his manic episode. Andy got arrested at the county airport spouting some nonsense about Nixon, and Gambelli turned him into public enemy #1.
My Lord.
Yeah, and Andy's got this friend, a frail, skinny old man, screams all the time. They just sent him over to medical on a stretcher. Andy says Gambelli threw him into a side room. Probably broke his ribs or cracked a hip. And get this, there's another guy there, a really big guy, like twice Andy's size. Gambelli's giving him both the same amount of Thorazine. No wonder Andy can't think straight.
What you gonna do now?
I got coverage from Belsky. I'm gonna be working there a couple of days a week.
You're gonna be right in the thick of it, and that's what you decided?
I decided I'm gonna do my job. I'm supposed to take care of patients. That's my job. That's what we're all supposed to be doing. Taking care of people who can't take care of themselves, right?
That's right. That's what we're supposed to do.
Well, then there it is. That's what I'm gonna do.
Good. Be careful. You know any way I can help, I will.
I know, thanks. You better get back.
Drugstore night. Jay goes through the aisles picking up a box of tissues, cough medicine, and some cotton balls. Ward 6 East that night. The long hall is filled with patients talking and relaxing. Crazy Joe, 35, short, chubby, believes he's Elvis, strums a plastic ukulele. Jay finds Andy and Matt in the day room.
Wow, this place sure is a different vibe at night.
That's because Gambelli's not around. What's in the bag?
Something for you. Let's go to your room.
Jay unpacks the bag as Andy watches.
Gambelli's giving you the same amount of Thorazine that Matt's getting. That's why you're so sleepy. We have to limit the amount you take in. Here's what I'm thinking. You hold the cotton balls in your mouth so that when you take the medicine, they'll absorb some of it.
I'll try anything not to be sleeping all the time.
Well, let's try this. But nobody can know about this, only you and Matt. Got it?
Got it.
Put the cotton balls in and take a swig of this cough medicine. Hold it for a second, spit them out into the tissues. Try it.
Andy follows the routine. Just as he spits out the cotton balls, Crazy Joe strolls in.
Hey, Andy, can I have a Winston?
Seeing Andy spitting up globs of orange goo freezes him. He turns and ducks out.
Shit.
Andy starts after him, but Jay stops him.
Let it go. He doesn't know what he saw. Talking about it will make it worse.
Yeah, this is easy. I can do it.
You have to be careful. When Ronnie hands you the morning medicine, take it as usual, walk into the day room, take the tissues from your pocket, and spit out the cotton balls. Make sure nobody sees you do it.
I'll be behind you to block Ronnie's view.
Good idea. Be careful, this is important. We can't screw it up.
You'll see. We'll pull it off.
Great.
Thanks.
I've got to run.
Ward 6 East, day room morning. Andy walks into the day room and ditches the cotton balls. As he lights a Winston, Crazy Joe comes grubbing a smoke. Other patients come begging and a fight erupts. Andy gets hit in the eye. Matt comes over.
You okay?
I got clipped in the eye. Hurts like hell.
You need cold on it.
Matt wets some paper towels and Andy holds them to his eye. Ronnie's at the day room door.
Coops, over here.
He leads Andy to the staff office where Gambelli waits. Andy sits covering his eye. Gambelli smokes, staring straight at him.
What did you just do in there?
Nothing.
I said, what did you just do in there?
Nothing.
Oh, then how did you get that eye? You know, Mr. Goops, that the day room is an important part of the hospital treatment program?
The day room?
The day room is a place, Mr. Goops, where patients rest and rejuvenate. Peace and quiet are very therapeutic. They're like vitamins, essential for good health.
I see what you mean.
Do you? Because you seem to enjoy, how do you say it, shaking things up.
I was trying to help them out. They wanted cigarettes and I had them.
Oh, you were only trying to help. But you seem to have a taste for resisting rules and challenging ward routine. Rules and routine, Mr. Coops, can't be ignored. They cannot be violated.
I'm fine with the rules.
Don't patronize me. Your admission here shows a willingness to break the law. Weren't you arrested for threatening the president, or were you just trying to help then also?
I wasn't arrested for threatening the president.
Oh, that wasn't you at the county airport?
I was at the airport, but not for...
Shut up! I know very well why you were there. Be careful, Mr. Coops. My patience is running thin. And go back to the day room and see if you can mind your own business.
Andy's room day. Jay stops by.
How's your eye? It looks awful.
I'll live. I didn't know about it.
I just read about it in the day book. Yesterday, Gambelli made a note about you fighting. Do you think he suspects you're dumping meds?
Nah, he wouldn't have brought it up. I wasn't fighting. I was trying to break it up.
Well, like I said, he'll twist everything to make it seem you need to be locked up here.
He repeated that crap about my threatening the president.
Well, what else did he say?
That he's running out of patience with me.
All right, so that's why you're cutting your meds. You'll have more energy to mop and do whatever else they want you to do. You'll become a model patient, ready to go to an open ward. Just be careful with the dumping. Don't get sloppy. Watch who's around you. Where's Matt?
Mopping, I guess.
He's still mopping?
Yeah, now instead of pacing, he mops.
Jay leans into the hall, calling for Matt, and then turns back to Andy.
Tomorrow, make sure Ronnie sees you doing some mopping.
Matt appears in the doorway.
Okay, listen, I'm signing you up for the occupational therapy shop. You'll go there and make stuff.
Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah, it's a program in the hospital.
What about lunch?
You'll be back in time.
Okay.
What about me? I want to go too.
You're not ready, not with that eye and all that Thorazine in you. You can't be around power tools. Just keep doing what we're doing and what we talked about. Your turn will come. Matt goes first, you follow. That's the plan. Are we still on the same page about getting out of here? Good. I'll go make a note that you're leaving in the morning. Stand by the door at 9 and be ready to go.
Staff office. Ronnie sits at the desk. Jay enters and writes a note in the daybook.
I'm sending Matt to OT in the morning.
You can't do that. Just make decisions all by yourself.
You know what? You're right. Usually patient decisions are made at team meetings. Guess who's supposed to hold those meetings? You, the ward charge. When the accreditation people come through here, they're not going to be happy with what they see. And that's when the shit's going to hit the fan and get all over you, my friend.
Oh, yeah? The accreditation people can go suck my dick.
Well, I don't know about sucking your dick, but they're certainly going to get you fucked.
Gambelli's car traveling Hospital Road day. Driving past the golf course, Gambelli sees Mia walking on the road. He stares at her image in his rearview mirror. Hospital director's office. Inside a stately colonial fronted by a circular driveway, Secretary Alice McCarthy, 60, types. In an adjoining room, the director, Dr. Amish Khan, 47, a career civil service man, reads the newspaper. The sounds of cars arriving bring Alice to her feet. Before she can cross the room, the front door opens. Seeing 5 bearded, black-suited Hasidic Jews leaves her speechless. Rabbi Jacob Glickstein leads the group.
Good morning. My name is Rabbi Glickstein from Congregation Bethel in Manhattan. This is my associate, Dr. Frankel, a psychiatrist. These gentlemen are members of the temple, here to assist as necessary. We'd like to see the director. We are here to take Isidore Berg home.
Oh, yes, yeah. Just a moment, please. Khan's office. Alice McCarthy closes Khan's door and rushes to his desk. There are rabbis here.
Rabbis? What rabbis?
Rabbis for Isidore Berg. They want to take him home.
Who's Isidore Berg? Never mind, show them in. Call medical records, find out who Berg's doctor is, and get them here immediately.
Khan's office later. Khan, Glickstein, Frankel, and Gambelli sit together.
And so, we are delighted to have discovered Mr. Berg. As a Holocaust survivor, he's precious to our community. He can come home and get treatment there.
Dr. Gambelli, any objections?
No, treatment closer to home is always desirable. He can be moved, but I am curious. How did you locate Mr. Berg after all these years of no communication?
Good question.
You'll be happy to know, Dr. Gambelli, it's entirely due to the professionalism of your staff. Without Mr. Conti, none of this would be possible. Mr. Conti?
Conti. I don't think I know that name, Dr. Gambelli.
A social worker, new to the ward.
Well, why didn't you bring him with you? You deserve to be here, don't you think? Alice, call to Building 7, please, and have a Mr. Conti join us. Thank you.
Gambelli flushes, red with rage.
Please continue, Dr. Franklin.
Meeting him would be a pleasure. Apparently, he took the time to go through Mr. Berg's extensive records. I mean, after all these years, it must have been a huge stack of papers. And he found the one number that led back to his previous life.
That kind of dedication to detail seems harder and harder to come by these days. Don't you think?
I couldn't agree more. What about it, Dr. Gambelli? Seems like you got the luck of the draw with this Conti fellow.
Yes, it appears so. As I mentioned, I've only just met him. He's a part-timer, 2 days a week.
Alice ushers in Jay, looking like this is the last place he'd like to be. There are handshakes all around, except for Gambelli, who remains seated.
Well, Mr. Conti, you're the hero of the moment. We were just all commenting on your excellent work.
It was just luck, really. Going through an old found, I found a phone number for one of Izzy's neighbors. I called, and then it was just a matter of connecting the dots.
Sounds like good old-fashioned social work rather than luck. I told Dr. Gambelli he's lucky to have you. But where are you when you're not in Building 7?
I work in the Department of Ed and Training under Dr. Belsky. I'm sort of on loan to Building 7 as we do some training there.
Good, good. With the accreditation coming soon, the more training is always welcome.
Thank you.
On behalf of the entire Jewish community, my colleagues and I thank you for helping Mr. Berg come back to us. Today you did a mitzvah here. A mitzvah is an act of pure kindness, so you can feel very happy. God is smiling today.
Beautifully said, Rabbi. Dr. Gambelli will get together whatever transfer papers you need and escort you over to our medical unit. It's been a pleasure. Have a safe trip back.
Clothing room, Ward 6 East. Crazy Joe wakes up from a nap, and his eyes widen with terror. He sees Watson, a mute, severely regressed patient, with feces all over himself and on the ward's supply of clean laundry. Screaming, Crazy Joe rushes out and bumps right into Ronnie.
What the hell are you screaming about?
He sees the dirty sheets and goes ballistic.
Get back in there, you cocksucker. This is your fault. You were supposed to be putting the laundry away, not sleeping on it. And you're cleaning it up.
Hearing the commotion, Jay comes out of the staff office. Other patients gather and gawk. An aide holding his nose leads Watson to the shower room. Crazy Joe wails hysterically. Ronnie pulls over another aide.
Stay here and don't take your eyes off this motherfucker until he cleans this place up. Every bit of it.
Off screen, locks turn, keys jangle. The ward door opens and closes. Gambelli comes into view.
What's going on? What's that smell?
It's Watson. He had an accident in the clothing room.
What was he doing in the clothing room?
I don't know.
You don't know? You're the ward charge. You're supposed to know everything that goes on here. That's your job, right?
Yes, that's right.
Gambelli steps into the room for a better look. Shitty handprints are everywhere. Crazy Joe hides behind some clothes.
This place is a health hazard. I want to get the whole room emptied out, floor to ceiling. It's got to be mopped down with disinfectant. And he can't do it alone.
Gambelli looks over the gathered patients and then goes to the center of the hall and bellows Andy's name.
Andrew Coops, come here!
Andy comes out of his room and down the hall. He and Jay exchange worried glances. Andy stops about 10 feet from Gambelli. They face each other like two gunfighters.
I want you to get your mop and bucket and clean this room from top to bottom. Take out every piece of laundry, sheets, pillowcases, towels, the clothes, everything. Then you mop and wipe down the walls and floor with disinfectant. When that's done, you separate the laundry, keep what's clean, and put everything back.
Don't worry, Andy, I'll help you.
Shut up, you idiot.
Gambelli glares at Andy, waiting for his response. Everybody is waiting.
Why me?
What did you say?
Why me?
You recall, Mr. Coops, our recent conversation about you having a more cooperative attitude? Questioning my judgment doesn't seem very cooperative.
Andy says nothing, and Gambelli turns to Jay.
Does it seem cooperative to you, Mr. Conti? You're all about motivating patients, right?
Before Jay can answer, Andy speaks up.
All right, I'll do it.
Andy turns and starts walking away.
What now?
What now? I'll tell you what now. You stay here until he cleans that room so you can eat off the floor. Forget about going home at 4 o'clock. You stay here till it's done. I don't care if it's 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. You don't leave till it's done. Now get it done.
As he turns to leave, Gambelli locks eyes with Jay.
You seem to be creating miracles everywhere. First Mr. Berg, and now Mr. Coops, bursting with newfound cooperation. Exactly why are you here, Mr. Conti? What other miracles do you have up your sleeve? I'm here to help the ward get ready for accreditation. Oh, is that it? The accreditation? Well, we'll certainly need another one of your miracles to pass. But so many miracles, Mr. Conti, can be dangerous. Be careful. At this rate, you could end up on a cross.
Fade out.
Thank you very much. I want to make two little announcements. We have novels for sale that I wrote. That's what the screenplay is based on. They're $15 each. All the proceeds go right to the library. I'll do it, darling. The staff, let me introduce, now let me tell you something. 3 months ago, the staff, when we had this idea to do this, we booked a date in the library, and then we diligently sent out requests from community actors from the theater group. No one responded. So before I canceled the whole thing, I was encouraged, well, let's get our friends to do it. These guys are not actors, they're my friends who came to my rescue and under great stress, out of their way, did it. Fabrizio Labruzzi, who I think of as the unspoken mayor of Sag Harbor, and despite sounding like a real, he's the nicest guy. Jeff Millman, a man about town. Hector Di Cordova, local artist. Mainstay of the art scene out east, and he schlepped all the way from Greenport for 5 Saturdays in a row. Hero Bromley, one of the most loved and esteemed teachers out here, and a tireless reporter for The Independent. Dennis Avedon, who is not a rabbi but a realtor, but anybody who knows Dennis will tell you he does one mitzvah after the other. My beautiful wife, Emily, and last but not least, my grandson, Zed. In ways that I didn't think possible. Thank you very much. Yeah, and
do you want to tell me part of the story that's true? It is a part of the end.
So you know, this novel is based on true events. I actually did know this gentleman. I actually did help him get out of a locked back ward. He was a photographer, and he did go to Madison Square Garden, and he did take a picture of Muhammad Ali.
That's funny, you described yourself as being tall and good looking.
And here's the picture that he took. And I speak to him very frequently, like last week. And believe it or not, even though he's in bad shape in a rehab center, he still says, when in Paris, call collect. Okay, so any questions or feedback where I'd like to hear it? Okay.
Well, first of all, I'm so impressed that with a full-time practice, you managed to pull these guys together and write this book and put this thing together. How did you do it?
I did it with the help of friends. I did it with the help of encouragement of Evelyn. I did it with the wonders of my iMac computer and creative software. And I did it because I do know this guy. His life has been sort of an up and down journey. And when you revisit me again 3 years ago or 4 years ago, after I hadn't heard from him for about 10 years, I said to myself, I gotta write this guy's story. It's just knocking on the door of my mind, and that's what I did.
Beautiful.
Are there any questions you have that we could answer?
Oh, good.
Well, you know, did it come alive? Were you able to see the scene?
Yes.
Did the dialogue sound real?
It was riveting. It was
Okay.
riveting, and the narrator was great.
Yeah.
And I want to know if Izzy, the screamer, was a real person, the guy who was
Izzy?
shot.
That was a true
Yes, I
story.
worked in a state hospital, and just like I described, I go on the ward to see Andy. This is all true. And there at the end of the ward is this little old guy turning himself in circles and screaming.
Tell about this true story about Izzy. He saw his whole family.
Yeah, and it is true about him seeing his family machine gun. That's all
And
true
that was-
also.
Now, how long ago was that? I mean, do they have different meds now where he wouldn't be having to scream, or CBD oil or something?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Trauma treatment. Trauma treatment.
You know, some other
Yeah. But
thing.
don't forget, when I met this guy Izzy, he was impossible to communicate with. He had been in the hospital for already 25 years.
Oh, so he was so medicated
Yeah.
also. Yeah.
Does he know you're writing, doing this?
Yeah, that's Izzy is the old man that screamed.
Yeah.
The main character is Andy.
Andy?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I started writing the book 4 years ago, I told him about it. Does he remember that I'm writing a book? No. He never asked me about it. It's like gone out of his mind. He's suffering from a lot of different ailments, and beginning dementia is one of them. He's in a rehab center now and confined to a wheelchair.
Will you share it with him?
Yeah, sure.
book?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, having myself worked in an inpatient unit of a psych hospital, in terms of the question of, you know, how real is this, how authentic, it's pretty authentic. I mean, one I worked was a lot better, but there were, you know, these kinds of patients. I think that's very real, and you know, I think at one time there were staff like you described.
I'll go in the back first, then.
If this is happening based on a true story in one state hospital, is it happening in many other state hospitals? And could your book be the opening for people who might not be aware or conscious that this goes on to make some positive changes in their mental health?
Well, I have to tell you, this was all 25 years ago. There aren't many large state hospitals like that anymore. The community has shifted to community treatment. I would like to think on today's psych wards, it's an entirely different world, and this doesn't go on. And I have to say, this was, just like I said, this was an isolated ward in this hospital. Most of the hospital was run very well. This was in the worst building on the worst ward, and that's typically what you find. But in most of the hospital, good things were going on.
That was Pilgrim State?
No, it was Central Islip State Hospital. Yes.
You wrote the book and then you wrote the screenplay. God bless you.
Right.
How difficult was that to write a screenplay from a book?
It's very, very difficult. It's difficult.
What was your biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge was, I guess, having to go into myself, because I was told that, you can't just have a lead character that seems like, what your lead character has to have a character arc, some fatal flaw. You know, the guy who rescues the kitten from the tree has to be afraid of climbing heights. So in order to have the story move, he has to overcome a personal flaw and be able to do it. So I guess that part of it was hardest for me. And also and I have to say, so you know, I have this first part, I have the rest of it written, but it is so difficult, and I admire this when I watch TV, to come up with plot twists that are creative, ingenious, but are also plausible that people can believe enough in. It's really a challenge to your imagination and your ability to see what happens. It's very difficult. Writing the novel was a breeze compared to trying to write a screenplay.
Well, could I just add?
Yes, then.
You know, where this ends, this is like the end of Act 1, and this is like the beginning of Gambelli's intense hostility, and he acts out. If you haven't read the book, there's a lot more in the book.
Are you going to do a second reading of Act 2?
Yeah, a second reading of Act 2.
Or you're just going to go directly to making the movie?
Just go to make it. Just go to
Right now, I want to get as far away from it as
Pauline?
Yes, go on.
Romance, wine and cheese
Yes.
at 97 Pantego.
97 Pantego Road, our house, we're going to have some wine and cheese to kind of celebrate a little bit. Everybody's welcome to stop by. It's 2 doors west of Hildreth's if you haven't been there before.